Uncover the multi-billion dark web secret. Hello guys, today we would be uncovering and unveiling the multi-billion dark web trade secret. Enter this journey with us only if you are daring enough to trudge into the world of the dark web, because you may not like what you are going to see. Is the internet an open book or a secret? The internet simply seems like a stable platform for regular people. But is it all a hoax? Yes! Under the surface of the legitimate world of the internet lie the dark shadows of the dark web. It is where terrorists, criminals, and whistleblowers thrive and lurk. But most importantly, it is where millions of people get scammed. The dark web is not just full of atrocious murderers and assassins, it is a dark abode for fraudsters. If the first thing that pops in your mind is hitmen and trafficking when you think of the dark web, you have been fooled all along. The setup is designed perfectly, sneaky, and crafty. Because even if you do get scammed, would you report it? Definitely not. Accessing the dark web itself can put you behind bars. So that means you would be choosing to enjoy a life devoid of jail, although you lost a chunk of your money to these fraudsters. The environment is simply perfect for various fraudsters to test their new strategies, technologies, and tools to build lucrative criminal business models. Because even if they fail, the darkness of the dark web will obscure their presence and failure. Hence, the dark web finds itself as the perfect platform for testing shady schemes, and guess what? They are incredibly effective. This does not mean that the dark web is only full of sinful and sinister content. Many normal forums and discussions happen at any point in time. In fact, the surveys by Terbium Labs in 2017 found that about 47.7% of the site content on the dark web is perfectly legitimate. But what distinguishes the dark web from the surface web is the anonymity factor. Since the request from the IP address travels across various nodes of different countries, it is nearly impossible to track the user. Now it is the crookedness and greed that drive few people to perform dark deeds. So what exactly is this multi-billion-dollar scam trade, and how does this occur? Well, here are a few ways the dark money acquires billions of dollars. The dark web fraud trade. The fraud trade's glory days have arrived. Previously, they were heavily dependent on payment gateways like PayPal. That means some part of the transaction details got saved, dispelling the anonymity. All it needed was some tipping and threatening, and payment gateways spilled the information. Voila! The criminals were caught because the law enforcement had certain leverage and authority over the criminals. But times change, and cryptocurrency arrived as a boon in the e-commerce world of the dark web. The Silk Road transaction method eliminated this snitch from the loop, and the lack of anonymity issue was resolved. Sadly, this is when these wicked scams rose to its full potential. All sorts of market shops are available on the dark web platform, but we yet don't know what and why someone would buy there, and how do they make so much money. Obviously, drugs top the list. Most of the drugs are simply illegal in many countries and impose hefty fines or stringent punishments if a person is found possessing drugs. Therefore, people resort to the dark web where they can easily find buyers and sellers. See, finding loopholes with the dark web is a piece of cake. After drugs, 5 different fraud materials fall into the fraud materials category, and they are number 2 on the list of things bought relentlessly. People on the dark web have no hesitation in selling your personal information for some quick money. The whole dark web fraud economy is built upon the foundations of compromised data. Want to find out all personal information regarding a person? It is simple. Criminals and fraudsters trade information like health records, credit reports, account details, personal IDs, and myriads of other data in exchange for money. However, this fraud did not stop at selling. Some of the vendors openly leak this personal information. They might contain your usernames and passwords and other contact data. It is a terrific moment when you realize that your data might be floating somewhere in the dark layers of the dark web. The second category under fraud materials is financial data. Financial data does not float freely on the dark web. A fraudster first extracts as much money as possible and then sells off the card or account details to any person at the right price. So there are double profits, a cheap and effective way of making money. Its limited supply, of course, is a shrewd strategy to hike the prices. Pay the reasonable fee for the information you need is their motto for this heinous success. Newbies often do not have the experience or the skill because working with dark webs is not obviously taught in schools. So vendors themselves sell guides and templates which offer step-by-step and detailed tutorials. All newbies need to do is buy a few of them and master the art of the dark web. Raw materials, skill set requirements, steps to lay out a trap, fraud executions, and other notes are sold, and boy do they sell. The profits reaped are beyond our imagination, and they effectively raise a whole new community of dark web fraudsters. Legitimate software is sold as well. However, what sells at a freakingly high price is the software laced with phishing tools or the pre-made website pages that seem authentic but are nothing short of a Trojan horse. Apart from these, you can also buy fake college degrees and fake identities. The dark web is a perfect platform for people to reinvent themselves, primarily criminals who are looking forward to avoiding and escaping their crimes. Unsurprisingly, bank accounts are not the only accounts you can find here. Netflix, Spotify, and other hacked and stolen accounts surface on the dark web as well. You can also get counterfeit money printed on the dark web platforms, and making forged documents is no big deal at all. Today, a person might be a criminal, and tomorrow, he might be a highly reputed businessman. It is definitely hard for a person to find heavy-dose poison or hitmen in the real world. The law keeps these things away from the daylight. However, people who are desperate to get rid of a person access the dark web and hire an assassin. In recent years, the proliferation of international arms and weapons has surged exponentially due to black markets and dark web anonymity. These illicit arms are either stolen or forged illegally and sold readily. Essentially, the dark web is aiding criminals to get weaponized. It is simply horrifying that murdering a person has a price and forces you to think whether there is anything at all that cannot be sold. After all, the right price is all it takes from the impossible to become possible. As and when the trades and transactions happen, the digital fraud economy blooms and fortifies itself. It would be impossible to take down the dark web at the moment of time. But this still raises a question. How do they even decide the value of data? To put it simply, the data that is on sale is just an investment. The fraudsters who obtain this data use it to cash money. So more the monetization capacity of the data, the more are chances that the data will be sold at higher prices. Although the dark web trade thrives, there is a cheating process to make money in exchange for nothing. How in the world do you scam the scam world? Let's go back to February 2016. Someone with the mystical username Dog Day God approached a group of Albanian gangsters that go by the name Besa Mafia. This mafia agreed to assassinate the target in exchange for $6,000. So far, this is the process that occurs in the case of any hitman agency. However, something unexpected happened here. The mafia requested for additional $12,000 because their hitman was taken into police custody. Yet the deed was never performed. In 2017, a hacker exposed the fraud of this Besa Mafia. They only took the money and never killed anyone. While the poor targets did get saved, you could see how the fraud strategies improve and improvise. The dark web is illegal, and hence the possibility of booking a case is nearly zero. As earlier mentioned, who would risk going to jail to get back the money they lost to the scams? Human trafficking and hitmen domains are where most of these nefarious strategies are put to usage. So if you were thinking that the dark web was simply a random assortment of criminal activities going on, you were wrong. Some of the most talented and brilliant people work in the layers of the dark web. The dark web is a highly organized and shady economy where there are no moral ethics. It is a place where money rules the world with no shame. So that is how the billions of dollars float and exchange hands in the dark web world. With the veils of anonymity and the armor of privacy, the dark web is the perfect place for shady people to carry out business deals. We hope this video helped to bring out the dark trade secrets of the dark web. Let us know what you think of the dark web in the comments section. And yes, we sincerely urge you not to involve yourselves in the unscrupulous trades of the dark web. It is more dangerous than you would ever realize. Subscribe to our channel and do smash the like button, and keep supporting us until we are back with new content to keep you bewitched. See you soon, guys.